Hey guys, this is Gary with Runes of Life. As you might know, the San Diego Comic-Con was last weekend, and there were a lot of announcements. I've reacted to some of them on different platforms, but this one I wanted to react to the Marvel announcements, specifically the announcements for the MCU. They had three Marvel panels, but I'm going to focus in on that one right now. And this panel, as it looks like it's determining the direction for the MCU for the next few years coming up. So, what are some things I'm looking for from the MCU? One thing I'm looking for, I'll say more diversity as far as terms of the types of stories that they tell. In the past, the MCU has been kind of formulaic. Some people say that's been one of the big accusations, that you always have the same type of action, the same type of hero who has all these quips and there's all these jokes, and the same style of filming. Um, there's been times when they branch out with that, but in some ways that is a legitimate concern, because a lot of their movies have had a similar feel to them. I've enjoyed the feel they've had to them, but you can only have that same feel to it for so long before it starts to get a little bit stale, even if you do like it. So I want to see them branch out into different genres, different storytelling ideas and formats. That's something I'm looking for, and I'm looking for what direction are they going in as far as the next big bad. One of the big things early on in the MCU that kind of brought it, made it a big hit, was that it was all connected. It was all leading to Thanos. Well, Thanos has been gone for a while now, since before the pandemic, really. And since then, there's been hints of a direction of where the MCU might be going, but it doesn't feel like it's been quite as solidified, quite as cohesive as those early days of the MCU. So I want to know, where is the MCU heading towards? You don't need to always have a big event. I know from experience reading hundreds of comic books, thousands of comic books, that you can get event fatigue. So it probably was good that they took a little time off, but I think it's overdue to get back to a cohesive plan leaning towards a big bad. So that's the second thing I'll be looking for. The third thing is, what's up with the next generation of heroes? This isn't like comic books where you can have Captain America around for decades, unless you're going to recast him, because you have these actors who play these iconic roles, and they're going to age out of it, or they're going to their contracts are going to be over. So there's got to be a solution to that problem of how are they going to handle the next generation of heroes. I mean, it might just be recasting, but when you have someone like Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, even though he's dead in the MCU, some people want Iron Man to be back, either as Robert Downey Jr. or as a different actor. Same thing with Captain America and all these other heroes who have either their contracts are over, or they're aging out of their roles, or whatever. Are they going to recast? I don't know. It's hard to say. So that's something else. So yeah, those are things I'm going to be looking for as I go through this. I noticed a few things. I've glanced at the schedule and looked at it. There are a few things missing. I'll go over that at the end. Probably going to be a pretty lengthy video because there's a lot to discuss here. I'll try to move fairly quick because there are several projects here that are very exciting. All right, first thing up on the slate is Marvel, or actually this skips over I Am Groot. Oh, because that was part of the animation panel. So just to quickly comment on I Am Groot, that was in a different panel. It looks like a cute series of shorts. Nothing groundbreaking, but it'll be on Disney Plus August 5th or 10th, I think 10th. So if you want something cute to watch that probably won't affect continuity that much or canon that much, I Am Groot, if you're a fan. It'll just follow the adventures of CGI Groot in these short little segments. But going back to the panel, the next thing that ties into the MCU is on August 17th, and that is Marvel Studios' She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. There was one trailer for this before Comic-Con, and I was kind of split on it because I couldn't tell what direction they were taking, and it just wasn't that exciting of a trailer. The one at Comic-Con was much better. You can kind of see what direction they're going in. And it seems to be that they're drawing heavily from classic She-Hulk. So John Byrne, Brian, I don't know how you say his name, but who kind of made She-Hulk famous. There's influences there. There's influences from Dan Slott's run. You see hints of her breaking the fourth wall, which is talking to the audience. and that's something that she did long before Deadpool did it. So that's great that it looks like they're going to be including that to some degree. It doesn't seem to be too much. That'll be something they'll have to watch. What's the balance of breaking the fourth wall and not? You don't want it to get in the way and be distracting. But it's good that they are including that to some degree. But we'll see if they do it well or not. That's the next thing. Influences from Dan Slott's run. She is an attorney, but I believe it originated in his run where it was like attorney for superheroes. That is part of the story, a big part of the story. There was a glimpse of Daredevil at the end. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a lot more fun than I was thinking it was going to be. My only concerns are that they don't go too political on it. I hate saying that because a lot of people just, if there's any sort of political anything or any sort of viewpoint, they get very upset and they say, oh, this is the worst thing ever. I'm not like that, but because everything has a viewpoint to it, everything has a writer's bias or a director's bias that comes through, and if a story doesn't have a message, why are you bothering to tell it? But it could be because of the nature of this. She-Hulk is very, I could see it having a very heavy-handed political tone. I'm hoping it doesn't. And the other thing is, because of She-Hulk's nature, she is a very flirty, sexually active character. I'm hoping that that's more of a, they're not going to show it. They're just going to imply a lot of that type of stuff. Just to keep it family friendly, something that can be watched by families. But overall, I think this will be good. I think I heard somewhere it's going to be 10 half-hour episodes, which is interesting. More episodes, but shorter. I like that. That's, change up the format just a little bit. But yeah, that's the first thing on the slate. Then it goes a little bit out of order, so I'm going to jump down to the next thing chronologically, which is Marvel Studios' Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Saw the trailer for this. This one looks epic. So the big thing on this is that there was a big question mark on how this would be handled because, as many of you know, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed away before he got to make this next Black Panther movie. His last Black Panther movie was Endgame, I believe, and he had some animated stuff with What If. But it really raised a lot of questions on what direction is Black Panther going to go with its star gone. Are they going to recast him? Are they going to have him die off? Or are they going to replace him with another character? It looks like the option that they're going with is that in universe he has died and we are dealing with the repercussions and the characters are dealing with the repercussions. And it made the trailer like pretty heavy, pretty solemn, especially with the musical choice that they had. So it's probably one of the projects I'm more excited for because I just want to know how they handle that, how they honor Chadwick Boseman. And it didn't hurt that it looks like they're going to have Namor, the Submariner, and Atlanteans that they're fighting in all this. So you have these epic battles that are going to be in it. You have Shuri, who's going to have a big role, and always like that character. I believe Ironheart might be showing up in this. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure what how she would tie in, but interested to see how that plays. But really, it's just a matter of how is this going to honor Chadwick Boseman? And I've been watching a lot of this stuff on Disney Plus just because it's expensive to go to the theater. Why not just wait? As quick as it comes to Disney Plus, why not wait? But this one, it's probably gonna be really tempting to go to the theater for it because I can see a lot of it getting spoiled. I can see wanting that epic theater experience. So yeah, definitely excited for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It looks like they're going really trying to honor Chadwick Boseman's legacy and in the universe the Black Panther's legacy. So that is the next thing. After that, I think these go roughly in order. So we have Secret Invasion. So Secret Invasion it gets the title from, I don't want to say it's based on because I always change stuff. If you can't tell, this is going to be a lengthy video. I've hardly gotten into it and we're 10 minutes in. Secret Invasion, though, in the comic books, the heroes find out that Skrulls have been slowly over the years infiltrating different parts of the Marvel Universe to have influence and sort of take things over. They've influenced superhero teams, government teams, I don't know, maybe news sites, anything that where it would be a place of influence. And that was such a cool event. It was kind of like if you ever watch Battlestar Galactica, where you're like, I don't know who to trust. That was the feel of the Secret Invasion comic books. I'm hoping they evoke that feel here. I don't know how many episodes this is, and that's kind of concerning because I feel like this might end up being a little bit rushed. I feel like something with Who Do You Trust? I feel like that could have been the main drive of this next phase of the MCU, the next big bad. Imagine, not just having, because we've had hints of this, that there are scrolls, but with only a few projects coming up, we haven't seen it so much where, well, there's scrolls, but it doesn't really look like it's a threat. Imagine if you saw that scrolls were infiltrating, and it was, we didn't know it, and we didn't know how long they'd been doing that. But I'm wondering if it's just going to be solved in a few episodes when it comes out in spring 2023. That worries me. Maybe this is the setup for Secret Invasion, and the whole series is about learning that these scrolls are infiltrating among us, and then there'll be a Secret Invasion season 2, or this will hop into the movies and play out. I'm hoping something more like that, because I feel like they're rushing this a little bit too much. Not just rushing, getting to the end, but also so soon in the MCU's history. One of the big things about the comic book that worked is it happened decades after the the comic books had been around. So you don't know, well, when, you had to look back through all the comic book appearances and be like, hey, this guy disappeared for a little while and then came back, he was resurrected. What if he's a Skrull? What if for decades this guy has been a Skrull? And you're missing a lot of this rushing into that. That worries me. I will say they could pull it off. I was worried with Civil War, when they did Captain America Civil War, that was too soon, that there weren't enough characters. They pulled it off. It's one of the best MCU movies, according to many people. So we'll see how that goes, but I do have some concerns for that one. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There was a trailer for this. I don't think it's online, so I didn't get to watch that. And it's coming May 5th, 2023. Love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I love, those are some of my favorites. Probably those and Thor Ragnarok are some of my favorites, because I like having not just the action, but the comedy and all the crazy visuals and all that type of stuff. So I'm definitely up for this. I am worried for some of the characters may not make it out alive, because this seems to be the end of the story, and you don't know what's going to happen at that point. But I definitely want to see this. This is one that I'm most excited for. Loki Season 2, that's coming to Disney Plus in summer 2023. So Loki, I loved Season 1, because here's the situation when I watched Loki Season 1. Doctor Who, I'm a huge fan of Doctor Who ever since, I think it was the second season of the revival, second series they called it, when Martha came in. I can't remember my first episode. It might have been Shakespeare Code. Anyway, and I loved it. I loved Russell T Davies. He was the showrunner, his direction, his writing. And then Stephen Moffat took over, and I loved that. And the new doctors, so we went from David Tennant to Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi, and then I went back and watched Christopher Eccleston. I loved those two eras. It had this feeling, Doctor Who always had this, you probably wonder, why am I talking about Doctor Who? I'll get there. I know it's Loki. It had this feeling of anything could happen. And I loved that. I loved that even if the episode wasn't the best written, I knew I would have some weird idea that I could latch onto, and some funny dialogue, even if it was super campy. And I just love that about Doctor Who. And then they switched showrunners after Capaldi's, Stephen Moffat and Capaldi's last season to Chris Chibnall, and switched the Dr. Jodie Whittaker. And I didn't have a problem with Jodie Whittaker, but Chris Chibnall's writing was not the best. It was a lot more grounded, it felt like, which I can understand that take, but it ended up missing all this. I felt like anything could happen. He improved as the seasons went, but he never quite got there. He never quite got the fun quips and the dialogue and all that stuff. So I'm going back for, I think he's had like 2 or 3 seasons, maybe like 3 seasons or two in a series or something. And it's just like, man, the show that I loved, it's just like, right now. In the middle of all that, Loki comes out. And people start comparing that to Marvel's Doctor Who. See, I'm bringing it back. And they're right. It was just like all these crazy multiversal shenanigans with fun dialogue and fun characters. You didn't know what was going to happen. It really did have this Doctor Who feel to it. It was the MCU's Doctor Who, which is something I would never expect from a Loki series. Maybe from like a Silver Surfer series or something, because they're, but getting off topic. So Loki had that feel that I loved, and I am so ready for season 2 of it. To just not sure what's going to happen, what direction's going to go on, even the trickery, right? Sometimes that was something else I liked about the Doctor, and Loki being tricky, that kind of just made it more like it. So I'm very excited for that one next summer 2023. Next, November 3rd, 2023, Blade. There was a Blade movie years ago, and as far as I know, with the multiverse, who knows? But as far as I know, the old Blade movie has nothing to do with this. It's not tied into the MCU at all. This is a new Blade movie. If you don't know who he is, it's a vampire hunter, right? To put it, oversimplify it. I don't know that this one's for me. Like I said, I'm looking for more diversity in storytelling, so it's probably good that they're getting to something more vampiric, something that's maybe a little scarier. I think it's probably healthy for the MCU to have these more varied stories, but just because it's healthy for it as a whole and might help keep the stories going for longer, I don't know that it's something that I'm going to enjoy. I don't even know if I'll try and watch it or not. We'll see. Yeah, but I know a lot of people, this is one of their favorite heroes, and they are super excited for it. So, hey, not everything has to be for me. Just like I don't read all of the comic books, I don't need to see all the movies. Next up is Echo on Disney Plus in summer 2023. Echo is she is a character from Daredevil. I guess in the MCU she originated in Hawkeye. If you remember, she's deaf. I think in the comic book I feel like she had more of ability where she could almost copy things that she saw, like different martial arts and whatnot. I'm not 100% certain on that. She was an okay character. I'm glad, I think she has an important part in the MCU. As far as diversifying, that we're not just one ethnicity or whatever, and to get sort of disabilities in there and whatnot. But I don't know that I was ever excited for her story. What I saw in Hawkeye was good, but it was good from a secondary character point of view. I don't really see her as a primary character for my taste, but I think I'm glad that she's there. I think a lot of people love her, especially people who might deal with certain disabilities and whatnot, or who might come from, I feel like she might be Native American. I'm not sure. But she has a place in there, but I'm not sure. It's not one I'm super hyped about. So that is Echo. Next up is Ironheart, fall 2023 on Disney Plus. Very excited for this. So if you don't know Ironheart, and spoilers for this whole video, Ironheart basically in the comics replaced Iron Man in a time when Iron Man had died. And she is a genius girl. And I believe in the comic book, my wife read these more than I did. She had just like Iron Man has a suit interface, right? And even he put one in Spider-Man's in the MCU. Well, in the comic book, Ironheart had this suit interface where she could talk to someone. And I think the person she talked to was a hologram of Tony Stark. So that's interesting because it brings in the possibility of maybe Robert Downey Jr. will come back as a hologram, or you know what, if he doesn't want to commit that much, maybe just more of a voiceover that she talks to in her helmet. So that's kind of cool. I'm liking that idea. But really, I'm just happy because this is one of the characters my wife wanted most in the MCU. It's one of her favorite characters. from the comics she read, because she's probably her favorite writer is Brian Michael Bendis, who introduced Riri Williams, Ironheart, into comic books, and she just loved that character. So anything that makes my wife happy makes me happy. And I think that she's also a good addition. It opens up questions of, are we building towards a young Avengers? I know she wasn't in Young Avengers, but being that she's a younger character, typecast, or a Champions typecast, because I'm seeing characters from both those young teams. You have Kamala Khan from Champions has been introduced. I can't remember who else was in Champions. I know there was Amadeus Cho. He hasn't been introduced, but I think his name's been dropped, or his mom's name has been dropped. There's been Vision's kids, not Billy and Tommy. Miles Morales, that hasn't been introduced. So maybe they'll introduce more of these characters, or maybe they're going to combine it with the Young Avengers, right? Because they're both young teams, so they could bring it. They've had a lot of those characters introduced. Billy and Tommy, they seem a little bit young, but by the time they get to, the time movies take to make, it might happen. Stature, who was Cassie Lang, who was Ant-Man's daughter. They had in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they had, I think his name was Patriot, but he was like a younger Captain America type character. And so there's definitely clues for Young Avengers, who, like I said, Ironheart was not part of, but they could kind of combine these ideas, or maybe they'll just be in the next Avengers movie. They will be the next generation of Avengers. There won't be Champions or Young Avengers. It will be the Avengers. Either way, it's exciting to think about where they're going with that. Next up, we have Agatha Coven of Chaos. I believe this was previously called House of Harkness. This is coming winter 23. I really enjoyed the series she was introduced in, WandaVision, and I think she was a good character in there. I'm not sure I'm up for a whole series of it, especially since it's going to focus, it seems like, on witchcraft and whatnot, and that's really just not my jam. But we'll see what comes of it. Not my most exciting thing that I'm most excited for. After that, in theaters, on May 3rd, 2024, we have Captain America New World Order, presumably with Sam Wilson as Captain America. Very excited for that. I love Sam Wilson's Captain America and the different point of view he provides to that character, and the different voice he gives to the American ideal. I just loved him in the comics. I loved what they did with him in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and I'm hoping for something epic, right? So I loved Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but I kind of felt like it fluttered out at the end. It just kind of turned into another let's beat each other up type thing. I want a Sam Wilson-led Captain America that's as crazy as the Winter Soldier movie was, as far as the depth of it and all of that. And I'm hoping that they do something like that. But this has a lot of potential. Next up, Daredevil, Born Again, starring Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't know if I said that right. On Disney Plus in spring 24. All right, so in other words, the Netflix series, right, of Daredevil, they're bringing back those characters. They're bringing back Charlie Cox, who I know he's been in the MCU before now, once or twice by the time this will be coming out, and the Kingpin, right, who was in Hawkeye. I don't know if this is a continuation of the Netflix, if these are variants of those characters, if the Netflix Daredevil series are canon or not, but it's great. I love Daredevil as a character. I mean, he's just so complex. There's so many different ways to approach him, too. I've seen the very dark and serious, which is probably what they're going to go with, but I've also seen the more jokey type character, more happy-go-lucky in ways. But yeah, I am totally excited for this. Even though I never finished the Netflix Daredevil stuff, I really got to go back and watch those Netflix series. I think I can only watch certain things that are dark. I can't watch if I'm not in the mood for it, because it just kind of depresses me to, if I'm already in a dark mood, I don't want to see more dark stuff. I want to see stuff with jokes. But I do want to go back and watch those original episodes. I'm wondering how they'll tie in. Really excited for it. Next up, The Thunderbolts hits theaters on July 26, 2024. Very excited for this one. This is the movie that closes out I think this is Phase 5 of the MCU, but it closes out. So Phase 4 closes out with Wakanda Forever. Phase 5 closes out with Thunderbolts. There is a lot of directions that this can go in. Because if you look at the Thunderbolts team in comic books, there's been a few teams and they've all been sort of different as far as what their core concept is. But the two basic ones are, and this is big spoilers, because the original Thunderbolt comic had one of the biggest twists I've ever seen in comic books. It's maybe an entertainment period. But I'll tell you here. If not, skip ahead. But basically, at the time when the Thunderbolts were introduced, the Avengers and all these other heroes were sent to an alternate reality because of a character called Onslaught. They had to go to this alternate reality in order to stop Onslaught. Long story. Point is, the Avengers were gone. All the heroes were gone. I think the X-Men stayed around, and like a few, like Spider-Man wasn't involved in that, but characters like Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, they were gone from the MCU, and there was a vacuum for heroes. So the Thunderbolts stepped up and filled that vacuum, and it seemed like the next generation of heroes until you got to the end of the first issue. And it was revealed that this was not the next generation of heroes. Spoilers here. This was actually a plan by Baron Zemo to gain the public's trust so they could better conquer the world. So all of these characters on the Thunderbolts were actually villains. They were like, there's a character called Mach, I don't know if it was Mach 5, Mach 1 or something, was actually the Beetle in a new costume. There was a character who was Songbird, was actually Screaming Mimi in a new costume. There's a character called, I can't remember all their names, but the point is that these were all characters who were villains, just given new costumes and putting themselves out there to gain the public's trust. Baron Zemo himself was the leader in the guise of Citizen, I don't know if Citizen 5 or Citizen V. I think it was V for Victory. So you had all these villains behind the costumes, acting like they were heroes to gain the public's trust. And that was such a cool concept. Kind of blew my mind at the end of it. And to make it even cooler is, as this series went on, right, some of these former villains were like, I don't want to conquer the world. I like that the public likes me. I like helping people. So you had this almost internal civil war of the villains who were committed to the cause and those who were like, no, this is a good thing. I actually like being a hero. I'm hoping that's the approach they take. The other approach they might take is sort of a knockoff Suicide Squad. Still fun, but not as original. It doesn't have that twist. Unfortunately, I feel like that's the route they're taking, the second route, because you kind of look at, people are kind of theorizing who could be in there, and they're saying like, I don't know how to say her name, Yelena Belova, Black Widow's sister, the Abomination, maybe? No, not Abomination. What am I thinking of? They're saying who else? Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross, right, has been tied to it. U.S. Agent has been tied to it. Bucky Barnes could be in it at some way. Maybe even Hawkeye. And they're kind of the general idea is this is more likely a Thunderbolt or a Suicide Squad knockoff. I could still see it working as the other way. You just give all these kind of darker characters different identities. Hopefully that's what they do. I would love to see just this new group of heroes, and Marvel kind of plays it as, oh, here's this new group of heroes. This is our original group that we created for the MCU, not from any comic book. We wanted to try something different. Then you get to the end of the movie, and it's like, oh, these are actually villains you've seen before, or darker heroes you've seen before. I would love them to do that. We'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to do that twist, because in the comic books they kind of got lazy about it and just went to more of a Suicide Squad type setup. But we'll see what happens. All right, moving on. We are finally into the start of Phase 6, and that it starts with one of my most anticipated movies, The Fantastic Four, November 8th, 2024. Gotta love it. Please let this be a good movie. Fantastic Four they've always had as well that sort of Doctor Who feel of going out and exploring, and you never know what's going to happen, and all these strange visuals. That's Fantastic Four at their best. Combine that with a family structure, a strong family narrative. They have some of my favorite, or at least one of my favorite characters with the Thing. Hopefully they will do this right. I would be so disappointed if this one doesn't work out, but still a long way off. After that, they announced the last two movies are both Avengers movies. The first one, and they come out within 6 or so months of each other. The first one is Avengers: The Kang Dynasty on May 2nd, 2025. Next after that is Avengers: Secret War on November 7th, 2025, and that ends Phase 6. Although we were told it's not just those three movies, it does happen within a year, but there are more surprises within there. Really excited. Kang is a great villain with all his time travel and multiverse shenanigans. Secret Wars, if you don't know, this was a story wherein the different Earths were having incursions, and they sort of collided on each other, and you had this map of each section was like a different universe, and Doctor Doom ruled over everything, and it was has a lot of potential. It's definitely a huge event that is worthy Thanos level threat. Really excited for that. I'm excited. I should kind of clarify though that was one version of Secret Wars. There was also a version of Secret Wars in the 80s and a version called Secret War that was more of a spy thing. But everything points to, because they've been focusing on the multiverse, that it's going to be more like the most recent Secret Wars. It'll be interesting, because in the comic book, you'd have all these different universes. You'd have like a universe where Spider-Man got married to Mary Jane and they had a kid. I can't remember them all. I feel like there was a Captain America one where it was more like a savage Captain America in the Savage Land. All these, I don't know if the Wasteland, I know that was something, Old Man Logan, I can't remember if that was part of Secret Wars or not. I know it originally wasn't, but I feel like they might have brought that in because it was so popular. But yeah, that seems like a great threat. Definitely looking forward to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Russo brothers came back for that, because they've been saying in interviews that they want to do Secret Wars. They didn't announce a director today, but if they could get them in, they did such a good job on the other movies, that would be so awesome. And I would not be surprised at all if they came back for that. Some stuff that's missing from here. So for one thing, I thought there was an Armor Wars series that was going to be coming with Rhodey and War Machine. I don't see that. I don't see the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that's supposed to be coming this holiday. I don't see Deadpool, which I thought they'd get that out so quick because it's a popular character. He's a moneymaker. Where is Deadpool? I don't like him particularly that much, but where is he on here? What else? No mutants. We had a mutant spoiler for Miss Marvel, but we had, and also in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we're starting to see the mutants trickle in, but where is it? Where are the X-Men? Where's Wolverine? Where is the mutant invasion? Where is that going to happen? It makes me think that there's other stuff in here, if not in Phase 5, definitely in Phase 6, that they're not announcing because they don't want to spoil things. So hopefully those different missing areas will become clear why they're not showing up. Hopefully none of them have got canceled. I can't see them canceling any of those. Maybe... the holiday special I think was too far along. Armor Wars, I don't know what's going on with that, so maybe that one. I can't see them getting rid of Deadpool or the X-Men after so much money with Deadpool, and after how hard they worked to get the X-Men. But it is weird that they're not on the list or even acknowledged, because those are projects we know about, so why are they not on here at all? I could see why they want to keep maybe X-Men secret as a surprise. But man, it seems like it's been forever since they made that announcement that they got the ability to use the X-Men. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this lineup. There's a lot of stuff that I'm excited for, very excited for, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Loki Season 2, Ironheart, Captain America New World Order, Daredevil, Born Again, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, the 2 Avengers movies, Wakanda Forever. I'm excited. I'm very excited for all those. And there's only like a couple where I'm like, like Blade and Echo probably like the ones where I'm like, I'm not excited, and then everything else could probably go either way. So that's, oh, and Agatha, I'm not really excited for. So yeah, I think they've got a strong lineup. They got, so the stuff I was looking for, right? They've got some big bads, right? That we're working towards. They seem to be getting some more diversity in there as far as a type of story told. So, like, Secret Invasion could be more of a spy type thing. You know, we've got your sci-fi, we got your Doctor Who type stuff, your scary horror things. Um, it could probably use a few more, you know, genres in there. I'd like to see some more of that. Um, but yeah, overall, I'm fairly excited for it. I am a bit worried that this is a lot. These are a lot of movies. Right before the pandemic hit, I was kind of Endgame had just finished, and I was about satisfied with how far I'd gone with the MCU, and I wasn't sure if I was going to see more in theaters. I don't think Disney Plus was much of a thing at that, or we didn't know the extent of it, because I felt like I'd seen too much. Right? I had this feeling of I love the Marvel movies, but they come out so much. I only get to go to the movies a few times a year. Do I only want to see Marvel movies in theaters for the rest of my life? And I was kind of at this point where I'm like, I don't know if that's the route I want to go. Um, then the pandemic happened, and it kind of reset my expectations, and there was a big gap in the Marvel movies. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for more Marvel movies. So it did reset my need for them, but now it's like I'm looking at this like, man, that is quite a lot. I'll probably see most of this stuff though, at least on Disney Plus. But yeah, let me know what you think. Overall, probably the one I'm most excited for on here. Oh boy, it's hard to beat Black Panther just because it's so close. Wakanda Forever. Normally, I'd probably say Fantastic Four, but that is so far away, not till 2024, late 2024. So right now, my hype is probably mostly for Wakanda Forever, just because it has a big movie that's happening very soon. After that's gone, everything's off. All bets are off. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to comment on anything else. Hopefully, this will be a great era for the Marvel movies, and we'll see where it goes. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening all the way through.